Good evening. Yeah, I know it's a little different. It's very, very different. We are less than 24 hours away from the end of the second phase of hustlerskungfu.com. Less than 24 hours. It ends 6 p.m. tomorrow. I'll talk about that a little bit in a minute, but something new that I'm doing. I am creating an award for the student of the month. This picture, because the website that I bought it from, or will be buying it from, they don't have the best pictures. I had to kind of blow it up a little bit so you can see what it is, and it's very pixelated. But the student of the month in October, someone who has the most engagement, people who are going through their courses, will get this sword. It's a real sword. It's not a toy. It's very sharp. You can't play with it. Well, you could play with it, but you'll have to be very, very careful. That's going to be the award for student of the month. Now, since we are in the PM hustle mode, I'm keeping it dark. I don't have the strobe light and stuff on. Well, maybe I can do this. This is reminiscent of my first videos. This is the stuff I used to do when I was in the basement in 2009. This is how I made so many videos. Didn't know anything about lighting, nothing. It was just funny. Today was a really good day today. I hooked up with an old friend, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute. But I'm also going to share this with you. If you want to get one of the best deals, now you missed the first deal, which was $150. I know a lot of people are salty about that. And this is the second best deal, maybe in your mind, this depends. But it ends tomorrow at 6 p.m. Go ahead, get the hustlerkungfu.com special. The link is below the video. You got until 6 p.m. tomorrow. And I'm just saying, you're going to want to get in. You're going to want to get in because new course is coming online. Disruptive Ronin, Economic Warrior. Now, what is that about? What is that about? Well, I thought about some things. A lot of what I do centers around economics because once you get your economics together, you get your freedom together. There is no voice without economics. And many people will just disagree with me. I have a voice. I can say this. Okay. You want to believe that? Stick to it. But what I am telling you, based upon my experience, is you don't have any power without an economic base. And understand, money's not power. Intellect's power. But money is a tool that's given the right intellect can be extremely powerful. It can be over the top crazy. It can be awesome what you can do with it. Disruptive Ronin, because Economic Warrior is going to be a mental course, practical application, and physical. It's going to be physical. Yes, there's going to be some stuff in there that's going to kind of blow your mind. Now, if you are a member of hustlerskungfu.com, you're in. You know, it's just you'll see it in your dashboard once we launch it, and you can just start taking the course. The cost of the course is $150. That's the beta mode. Once the course is done, it's going to be $500 to $600, somewhere around there, because I'm going to do it in the style of 30 days to 2,500, which is I'll launch a daily live module, and it will include feedback from people who are taking the course. So I'll start that. You'll give the feedback. Plus, there will be some stuff already there, and then we'll do the launch. And then you'll start working on becoming your Ronin. If you don't know what a Ronin is a samurai warrior who doesn't have a master. Let me say that again. A Ronin is a samurai warrior trained to kill, trained to be a mercenary, trained to hustle, trained to do all this stuff, but they have no master. Because my girl said, you're like a Ronin. I said, what do you mean? It's like you're a samurai warrior, but you don't have a master. And I was like, that's a course. That's a course. You see, my eyes are shining like diamonds. It's like, yeah, we can do this. We can definitely do this. But what's going to happen? I'm going to be all over the place in this because this is a PM Hustle Hangout. Today, I went to visit a friend who owns a bank. And if you're watching, I got a question for you. How much money does it take to start a bank? Because I didn't know he owned the bank. I've driven by it. Well, there's actually 9 branches. So, we'll discuss that. And yeah, just put in the comments, how much money do you think it takes to start a bank? We'll see how that goes. So I was talking to him today. Now, he's a very, very, very interesting fellow. I'm getting ahead of myself because a lot happened today. When I go downtown Atlanta, I take Uber. I just hate driving down there. I just really hate it that much. And parking can be expensive and parking can be hard to find. And you may have to park 3, 4, 5, 6 blocks from where you are to get, economical parking, which I hate. So I just took Uber down there. So my first Uber driver today was a guy from Burma. He was a refugee. He's been here 9 years. Very interesting. And he says he likes Uber because it helps him improve his English. Because it says, when I'm at home, we speak our language. That was cool. Nice guy. Then on the way back, this has got me because there's a great deal of people who are talking stuff about Uber. So my driver on the way back, he was working in the warehouse. He quit his warehouse job to drive for Uber after 2 weeks. And I was like, really? He said, yeah, I make more money doing this than I do in my warehouse job. People say it was a no-brainer. And you hear many people who were doing Uber, who started Uber years ago, because, now you can say Uber's been around for years, who are very dissatisfied with Uber, can't stand it because they came in here, price cuts, adjustments, things happen. They're unhappy. They're seriously unhappy. But for this guy who was new to the platform, because he was making more money doing that than his regular gig, it was very attractive for him. It was extremely attractive. And that was like kind of blowing my mind a little bit because I never get the same. It's always a new one. You're only driving for a few weeks. And it's just fun. It's just fun that way. But it's about perspective. Because this man quit his job. Platform. Let's just say he quit his job 2 weeks after signing up for Uber. And let's see, I'm looking in the comment section. Peer-to-peer lending? No. How much money does it take to start a traditional bank? A regular bank. Branches, tellers, the whole 9 yards. How much money? I'll tell you what he told me. I'm just going to see who's going to guess. And I'll give you he just kind of laid out exactly what they did, which I thought was very interesting. Really, really cool. So hold on a second. Let's make sure that this is where it needs to be. All right. Yeah, peer-to-peer lending. A lot of people like that because it's a higher interest rate than traditional investments. I totally get that. That's like your Prosper. I think there's Money Club, Lending Club. There's all kinds of stuff out there like that. But just to think about that. Now, going back to the Uber guy, because like I said, there's so many people who are talking stuff about Uber, don't want to drive for Uber. And here's this guy, been in Georgia 9 months. I think he got here in November, so 10 months. And he said 2 weeks after, driving for Uber, 2 weeks, quit his job and doing Uber full time. That's pretty damn interesting to me. It's just very, very interesting. So let's see. Do I have pictures on this computer? I don't have pictures on this computer. I did a very poor job of loading stuff. Well, let me see. I may have them. If I have them, I will show you. If I don't, I can't put them up here now without turning this off. But if some of you know and some of you don't know, I used to own a furniture store. and a lot of my accounts are still open. So I'm looking for stuff for myself. So I went down to one of my favorite shopping places and I found some snazzy stuff, just super, super snazzy. And I noticed I've been going to the Merchandise Mart, or America's Mart as it's called, since 2000. I've had access since 2000. And a lot of people that were there for years and years. I mean, there were some people there that was there for decades. Like my friend, he's got a store there. He's been there 30 years. A lot of people, and I was talking to him, they had to go. I mean, he said they didn't adapt because he cut down his footprint. He used to have in what he currently has. And I told him, I said, this is to be more pro. It looks really good for you. And I was happy for him because he's doing well and he just seems to be happier, because I know he used to be just kind of really grinding it out quite a bit. All right, we'll see if those pictures pop up if they come in. Ah, well. Shucky darn shuck. Well, I think they're coming in. Yeah. All right, so I can show you. Matter of fact, I can even show you my Uber driver. So let's see. Let's open that bad boy up. Oh, all right. Come on. This is one of my older computers. I didn't do it on the newer one, which I should have, but I wanted to get these pictures because I had a feeling that they weren't going to be on the other computer, because I've got several iTunes accounts, and that's how, if you have a Mac, that's how you get your stuff. Okay, come on, do your thing. There we go. All right, so we got that. And make sure we can, I'm just going to show you some stuff. If Chrome did not pop up the way that I thought it would. That's really, well, hold on. Nope, it's jacked up. It won't do it that way. So I'll have to do this. But I'm going to show you because I'm in that kind of mood. Because I know I do this and I do this. Just playing around tonight. Just playing around. Because I'm in a good mood and I'm having fun. Here we go. Come on. Folks who just signed in, how much money does it cost to start a bank? Just put that in the comments what you think it is. I'll tell you at the end. And we will see what will pop up. Ah, there we go. All right. This is my dude who took me down there. Apparently, as long as your vehicle has 4 doors, because he has a Tacoma, which is a truck, you good to go. Yeah, he's a refugee and he likes Uber. I thought that was pretty interesting. That people were so enthused and happy about Uber. For the folks who are just joining, there we go. Come on out. If you're a member of hustlerskungfu.com, the student of the month is going to get this bad boy. It's a real samurai sword. Yes, it is. It's real. It's handmade too. And yes, I'm kind of crazy for paying what I'm going to pay for it, but I'm doing something different. Doing something much different. I have this big affinity for Asian philosophy, talked about a lot of stuff, and Hustlers Kung Fu, the Do Dojo, and it just kind of really fits the mindset, the philosophy of what we're going to do in the future. We'll get rid of that bad boy, and we'll pop back up, and I'm going to have more stuff for you because I have to turn it into a screenshot to show you to share. But while I'm doing that, let me back out and see if anyone else has put in an answer, because I was shocked at the answer that he gave me, because I thought it was way more. Mothership Products, 20 million. Full Melt Mike, 10 million to start a small bank. 50 real estate crowdfunding sites as well. Okay, some answers. Like I said, nope, we're not there yet, but we'll get there. I will also show you where I go shopping. I'll just go ahead and do a few of these so it will be easier because it's a cool place. And I'm really glad I've got to experience it because, like I said, a lot of people, they're just, they used to be there. They're no longer there. That part's sad. But as my friend Sarkis said, you have to adapt and innovate because Sarkis is, he's got a daughter that's about to graduate medical school. So you see, you said, we're getting older and we were talking about business. And he said, you are not starting from scratch because when he met me, I was in that scratch mode. And he was really kind to me, did a lot of wonderful stuff. And all right, I'll show you what he does. I'll actually, because it's a very interesting deal. Because he's a gemologist, he's owned a jewelry store for going on 4 decades. And something else he said too that I thought was really, really interesting. I mean, it really blew my mind. He said when he got here and he started his business, there was an article in the Atlanta Journal-Constitution that said it was just so easy to start a business and make money. It was like, he says, not like it is now. He said, you have to really compete. That kind of blew my mind because when you are looking at stuff and you hear, because this kind of goes back to my video, my AM Hustle, AM Hustle, that rant of fuck white supremacy. Many people, if they knew who were black, who were women, if they knew how easy business was, they could have started a business and been out of the game. But because of this false social narrative, it's weird because for me, I think it's easy because I've been doing it for so long that the risk doesn't bother me as it would for someone who's just leaving a job. All right, so I'm going to show you what he does. This is what he does. And do I have, let's see, let me find the other thing. Yes, right, he sells diamonds. And he's got this really cool thing that he's doing. He's got a 3D printer and he's creating these molds on his 3D printer at home, then coming to the store and putting them up, creating them. I'm going to actually show it to you because I took some pictures. I should have took more pictures of the store. I'll take some next time because it's fucking mind blowing the stuff he has in there. So, all right, we're working a little faster here. And, like this is stuff on, someone said, let's do more of these. And I'll say, okay, I'll do more of these because they're fun. And, it's informative. And I'm going to have to, let's see who else got some questions over here. Because we got Mothership Products. We have, all right, Michael Christopher Matthew. That's a pretty interesting name. Okay, same questions. So let me slide that over. And I'm going to show you because this is fun stuff. Because I feel like a kid in a candy store when I go down there. Okay, here is, I'll open up that one. And I'll open up that one. All right, so these are loose stones. What he's done with his business model is totally bespoke, just custom. You tell them what they want, and he says years ago, because we had, like, I was in there for a minute. He said, people would come in and they would look at selection and they would tell me, but he says, now people come in with a picture and they say, can you make this? And it was like very, very interesting and very different from what he used to do. But like I said, he's a really smart guy. He's innovated like you wouldn't believe. All right, so let me pop out there. Let me show you some other stuff. Now, he deals with the loose stones, so they deal with that. A lot of the stuff he makes, he just makes. And let me show you this. Now, this is what I thought was cool. This is the tech part. These are the molds, and they're under the blue light, and the blue light makes them harder because essentially what they're going to do is put this mold. They're gonna because they're blue and they're made of this heat resistant material. Because what they're going to do is put this stuff, create a mold for the ring. They're going to put it in whatever the stuff is. I should have watched that because he would have shown me if I asked him. And they're going to take this 3D render this 3D image rendered, create the mold, create the ring, and then he's going to put a diamond in it. And I mean, you got to understand, this stuff had to be done by hand. This has cut so much of the learning time because, like I said, he's just really, really excited. Like I said, he's a good guy. He taught me a lot of stuff. But all right, we'll pop out of that. But just to show you what's going on and how people are doing stuff, which is so cool in my mind. It's just extremely cool. All right, let's see if there's any more questions. Oh, we got more questions. Full melt Mike, did anyone ever send you a gun gold or a Frank Mueller watch for your courses? I got a few guns and I got some gold, but no, I didn't get a Frank Mueller watch. And I really downgraded that because, well, for the folks, there's this huge email exchange and there's all this talking. Then you got to set it up with, they got to send it to a gun dealer. Then the gun dealer's got to send it to my gun. It was just too much trouble. And then the other day, I got somebody that wanted to do a Bitcoin payment. And I put that out and just not that many people were really interested. Michael Christopher Matthew, what did you think it was? I have no idea what you're talking about. You got to give me the full context of your question. Okay, so I'm going to show you some other stuff. Because like I said, this place is kind of fucking cool. I feel like a kid in a candy store. Here it is. So this is where I was today, hanging out for about 5 hours. And just to give you a concept of what I used to do as a buyer, my full-time job was to go out and find products for us to sell. So I did it in the storage auction side. I did it on the physical products. So like I said, we had a furniture website, which was doing great, but the furniture business has shifted to container sellers. There's not a lot of private, family-owned or standalone stores. You've got to cater to the high end to make that work. Because if you're going to sell to regular people with regular incomes, you got to depend on volume. And that's rough. That is rough. Now, let me show you the other part. Now, this is outside. I don't know where you are, but there's a place where people can go buy stuff wholesale and then flip it. They have stuff that's super high end and they have stuff that's really cheap. Like you go to the 6th floor, that's where the jewelry stuff is. The 7th floor, there's some stuff up there. I mean, I used to buy real gold and flip it. Now, this is how long ago I was buying gold. 10 karat gold was, which Mexicans will not buy. And seriously, they won't buy it. It's 14 karat or 22 karat, and they're not messing with it. But 10 karat gold used to cost me $5.25 a gram. That's how long ago it was when I was selling stuff, selling gold on eBay. And this is when eBay was good, because I would be able to flip, safely, insanely put up some gold as an auction for 99 cents and not lose my ass. I would not do that today. I wouldn't advise anyone to do that today, but I was able to do it back then. It was like really fascinating. Now that I look back, those were special days. Those were really, really special days. They were amazing. Some other stuff I looked at. I got a thing for horses, if you hadn't noticed. And some other things that I looked at. You might see this stuff in the set that I'm designing, because I'm going to have a set and I'm going to have a studio. That's one of the reasons I was down there looking at stuff, because I wanted to make it different. But it gets to be really, really creative and interesting doing your own thing. And I look at all of the stuff that I used to do and how much that I have changed over the years in an effort to stay relevant. It's pretty interesting. It's pretty interesting. All right. I had a lot of stuff on the screen. I had to get rid of that. So let's see if there's any questions here. Let's see if anyone else is going to come up with the amount of money to start a bank. Let's see what else. What's down here? What's down here? Tim Taylor, 500K. The rest is all electronic. Oh, I know exactly how much. Okay, my friend who makes the diamonds, he owns a bank. That's the reason for the question, because I didn't know. I've been driving by the branches. I didn't know he owned it until today. Oh, I can tell you exactly. I'll give you the whole process. I'm just seeing if anyone's going to guess it. That's all I'm doing. I'm just checking the flow, so to speak. Checking the flow, seeing what people know, what people don't know. Because until you ask, you don't know what people know. You really don't have a clue. You can only assume. All right, so let's talk about Disruptive Ronin, the economic warrior. I'm going to do this course, and it's going to be very different because of the philosophy. I have a personal code of ethics, and I have a philosophy that I developed myself. I pulled from Eastern philosophy, I pulled from some African philosophy, and I put together my own thing, which works really well for me. My thing is freedom. Number one. All right, let's go back to me taking Uber downtown. I could drive if I wanted to, but I can be in the back on my phone, working on stuff, thinking about what I need to do, and don't really have to worry about it. And I see why folks with money get chauffeurs, because Uber gives you that experience of not having to worry about stuff, and you get really interesting characters. So with Ronin, the economic warrior, you got to have some principles. A samurai warrior has a code of ethics. They have certain things they do and certain things they don't do. Now, many people go, well, that's somewhat foolish or a little hokey. What's the use in having principles and the code of ethics if you're not going to abide by them? So we're going to develop your own personal philosophy. It's going to be a lot of work in this course. It's going to be a lot of homework. And it's going to be about personal development, because someone hit me up. You talk about the inner game, the mental game, but there's a lot of people out there who didn't do personal development courses. And I'm going to say, you know what? You're absolutely right. Now let's talk about the people who became financially successful, but were not emotionally successful. What Disruptive Ronin, the economic warrior course, is going to do is make you financially successful and emotionally successful. Now, let's take someone I love his music, Kurt Cobain. He was financially successful to the point that his daughter, who just got the trust fund, is like worth 170 million because she got that. But he was emotionally unsuccessful, emotionally demons. And this is what you see, because you often will see the financially successful person with the money, the cars, the broken children, the broken marriages, the drug habits, the all kind, like Donald Sterling, the guy that was just so upset that his side honey was hanging around dudes with who could, well, essentially that was a dick thing. If you thought it was a race thing, you're wrong. It was a dick thing. Here's this guy, he's got all of his money, but he can't fuck no more. Can you imagine how frustrating that is? Because you hear this thing that, money makes it. All right. Just as someone who spent a week in the hospital contemplating my existence on this plane, because I almost checked the fuck out. When you are hurt, injured, dealing with some chronic shit, money can get you better treatment, but you still have those issues. Donald Sterling, what is he, 70, 80? I don't know. He ain't fucking no more. He's got this young sugar tinny thing, and he can't tap that ass no more. He would trade $1 billion to get his dick working hard again. He would. Because that's why he got frustrated. You hang around Magic, you hang around all these young, virile, tall, hung basketball players, and you ain't fucking me, but he's smart enough to know she was fucking. It's like someone walked in the room and said, no fuck for you. No, no fuck for you. No, I fuck, but not you. No fuck for you. And you got to look at that. So with the sides of being financially successful, which is a good component to have, but if you're emotionally unsuccessful, if you can't maintain friendships, if you can't maintain relationships, if you're paranoid all the time, you don't have people you can trust. Do you understand how fucking lonely that could be? You got all this money, all this access, power, wealth, whatever, but you don't have simple shit. You don't have simple stuff. You just don't. And it's very important. And that's a heavy component that we'll talk about in Disruptive Ronin. So now I like doing the other live event because I don't have to refresh to check for questions. It just pops up. So when you do Hangouts, you have to pop in here and see what people are saying. Let's see, Mothership Products. You said you embraced the Oriental ideals of life. Did you serve overseas in the Army? I lived in Japan for 6 months. Now, what's really interesting about that, I had these principles before I graduated high school because, all right, I'm 48, be 49 next month. And when I was growing up, every Saturday, there was this thing called Kung Fu Theater. You in the 70s, there was all these martial art movies, karate. Bruce Lee was huge, all the Bruce Lee movies. I grew up watching that and reading, and then everyone did that. You had guys who would wear karate attire and wasn't taking karate because it was that cool. So these principles and stuff were here long before I got to, went to Korea, went to Japan, stayed there for 6 months. It was really interesting. Now in Japan, I got to do a Buddhist temple, which I thought was cool. Got to hang out and meet some real Buddhist monks. It was amazing. Let's see. What else is in here? I must admit, I do like the live stream question stuff much better than this. It's just easier and faster. But that's what we're going to talk about. Now, if you're already a member of hustlerskungfu.com, you're going to get this course because you'll just wake up and it'll be in your dashboard. That's the beauty of it. But I really looked upon that because when I started doing the Hustlers Kung Fu show, The Art of Online Money, talking to other people who have a lifestyle such as myself, it became very interesting because if you go check out the interview with Aaron Marino, and he talks about, he's just like, we don't talk about money. This is such a taboo subject because part of the disruptive warrior is separating yourself from the earned income syndrome. If you're predicating your life on a 40 to 50 hour week, you are vastly underestimating your value to humanity. Vastly. You really have some things to learn about yourself, because I don't have a paradigm of a paycheck anymore. I don't know about that. I mean, I get paid either every day or sometimes I get paid. Well, when I'm working on projects, like especially in the summer, I might not get paid for 2 or 3 weeks. I'm used to it. Doesn't bother me. Now, if you're coming from a regular paycheck paradigm, you're going to freak the fuck out on that. Like, wait a minute. What do you mean I'm not going to get paid for 2 or 3 weeks? And what do you mean I don't know how much I'm going to get paid when I get paid? I'm going to help you with that, because for you to be a business owner, for you to create your own economic destiny, you're going to have to let that paycheck mentality go, because you have quantified that an hour of your life is worth between minimum wage and maybe 25 bucks an hour. That's where most people are. They're between minimum wage and 25 bucks an hour. And 25 bucks an hour is 50 grand. Half the country makes less than 25 or 50 grand. So that's where most people are. And once you, I'll even go a little strange with this. Once upon a time, I dated a stripper. Yep. When I used to go to strip clubs, it was the middle of the day. It was during the storage auction time. My partner and her sister cracked the fuck up. They were just like making jokes and shit, walk in the kitchen, and they're like, here's a pole, Big Daddy. It was funny. Well, I was dating a stripper. I met her, went to the club, middle of the day. You know, if you ever go to a strip club in the middle of the day, well, back then, I don't know how it is now, but back then, there wasn't too many people in there. So I had my little drink. She came over, she did a dance, and she's like, you want any more dances? I said, no, I'm good. Then she's just like, oh, okay, well, I'm about to, clock out. So she just sits down next to me and we just start talking. And You know, once I look beyond the ass dust and the glitter and all this other stuff, it's like, oh, there's a real person in there. And we started talking, and one thing led to another. She asked me out. She's like, hey, let's go out. I was like, you're asking me out, like on the date, and you're gonna pay? She said, yeah, I got my own money. So that's how I ended up dating a stripper. When I met her, she hadn't been doing it that long. And she talked about this. She said, because you're a sex worker, because that's what a stripper is. You're a sex worker. You may have sex. Some do. A lot of them don't, but some do have sex. Your paradigm of what money is and who you are in your relationship to money and men is skewed like a motherfucker. It's just like, I mean, I want you to think about this. I don't know how much dancers make, so I'm just throwing numbers out there. But say you make $750 in one night. And it's these men who are giving you money for you to just shake your ass dust. So here you meet this dude outside of that paradigm who says he loves you, but strangers, people you know don't love you, who just like you or lust after you, are giving you money. So if he loves you, in her mind, she's like, you need to, let's see. Actually, I was gonna buy some. I don't normally do this, but I actually can do it because I was, like I said, I'm not looking for something. I got to have cash. But she's going to be looking for, she's going to be looking for this. She's going to be looking for this. That's what she's going to be looking for. You're going to be looking for this stuff. And because her thing of love is very closely related. There's a direct correlation between money and love in her mind. And it just is. You can't shake that. And for those of you who can't count, it was $1,400. Like I said, I was getting ready to buy something off Craigslist, and I got there and looked at it, and it wasn't what I thought. So that's why I had the money on me. But normally I don't carry this kind of money on me. But it gets to be interesting as fuck, because just like those strippers have their relationship with money, you have your relationship with money. And the less money you make, the worse your relationship with money is, because you can't see beyond that value. Oh, there's questions. Let me see what's going on here. Let's see. Let me refresh because I saw some. Okay, Mothership Products was in Okinawa for a year. I know a real estate millionaire. This is Erica Williams in North Carolina, but he had a side chick, and with a few years, his wife walked off with a bunch, and the side chick gets a nice check for child support. He's hustling all the time right now just by himself. Got to get that personal side straight. Ha ha, Donald Sterling. Donald Sterling was mad because he couldn't fuck no more. I'm telling you, it wasn't a race thing. It was a dick thing. And his dick wasn't doing what he wanted to dickly do. But that's funny. That's a big part of it, because I have a relationship now. It's very serious, and I had to let a lot of stuff go. Well, it just kind of happened, really. It just happened, and I just happened to let a lot of stuff go. But that's very, very important for you to be financially successful and emotionally successful, because you need to be emotionally successful to make your financial success last. Let's see. Let's see. It only takes 3 weeks if the paperwork is right. I don't know the context of that. Are there any places overseas you want to see lately, like South America, Europe, more Asia, like staying 2 weeks to a month? I know you have kids and that could be hard, but I wonder if you still have any travel. Probably will be on to London next year, going to Hong Kong next year, and the kids going. So we'll figure it out. I mean, it's going to be a crew. It's going to be 3 or 4 of us. So I'm still going. I got to do a great deal of traveling when I was very young. And I think that's one of the reasons that I'm not like losing my mind about it. I mean, I was how old was I? I was 19 when I was in Korea. I was 20 when I was in Japan. I lived in Hawaii. I mean, off Barbers Point. So there was this experience of travel, going to Korea, going to the Big Island. And like, if you've ever been to Hawaii, it's a different country. It's a different country. It's like a foreign land. It just is. And that's the things that we're going to do. Now, I'm going to do Disruptive Ronin, the Economic Warrior, in the same vein as I did 30 Days to 2,500. I will. It won't be free. Let's put it that way. I'm not going to do the free webinars and put them up on. No, that's not happening. But for the people who are taking the class, I'm going to probably do 3 days a week, pop up a hangout, because everyone that is in hustlerskungfu.com, I'm going to take your email address and I'm going to put you on the hangout list. And whenever I have a hangout, shoot you an email and it'll just be a private hangout for members only hangout. So it'll be really, really cool. Like I said, I got technology that I can do a lot of stuff with. Let's see what we have here. Okay. I thought there was more comments. All right. But that's what it's going to be. That's what we're going to talk about, because something that Erica said, and it happens to a lot of men. I mean, it gets to be really, really interesting. Like recently, Chris Brown got custody of his kid. Now, I put it up on my Facebook page. He only has to pay $2,500 a month. Now, he makes millions per year, and he has his daughter 12 or 14 days out the month, so he almost has 50%. Because I mean, he gets 12 days, and there's 30 days to there's 28 to 31 days in the month, and he has 12 and probably more time than that. So he's that's a big win. It's a very, very big win for a guy of his means, because I think, let me just do this. I don't have any clue to how much he is worth. I have none. Chris Brown net worth. And these things are not 100%. They're just a ballpark thing. They could be worth more. They could be worth less. 30 million. 30 million. You're only paying $2,500 a month. That, I mean, seriously. That's winning. What was Charlie Sheen? Winning. That's winning. And more importantly, he has his kid. So you look at that, but that has been a serious issue with a lot of men in terms of them losing their money. Phil Collins, he's been married 4 or 5 times, and he was married to this one woman. And after 5 years of marriage, she made off with 20 mil. She got $5 million a year being married to him. I was just like, that's disgusting. That's just disgusting. The man worked really hard all of his life, and it's just gone. Just gone. All right, I'm going to show you something else while I'm doing this stuff. Let's go here to, let's see if the people in the Facebook, check out another video and you'll see how to get the link to the Facebook group, because you can't see the links to stuff right now. Let's see. Oh, we got a bunch of comments here, because I asked the same question in the group, and that's one of the reasons I'm not putting out the okay, there we go. That's the reason I'm not putting out the answer yet until people can get in there. So let's see. We've got a lot of people at 500K in cash, 1 billion. Actually, my guess, you're in both places with 20 million. Let's see, 10 million at least. $1 billion would be suitable for a sovereign wealth fund, a small fund. Let's see, 10 to 20 million. It depends on the money. A person invested 50K. At least 50 to 100 million. It's all over the place. It's all over the place. So I'm going to go ahead and just put this down. It takes 15 million on the first round. And to expand, it took another 15 million. They had 12 people who invested. He could have did it by himself, but I don't think he wanted to just be the man doing everything. Like I said, he could have did it by himself. But yeah, 15 million to get it started and up and running, and then another 15 million to expand. That's how much it takes to start a bank. Pretty fun stuff, isn't it? Well, that's what I thought. But We're gonna do a lot of stuff with hustlerskungfu.com, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. If you notice, I did put out another course while I was doing it because it was already confusing enough. So I just kind of slowed my roll and went ahead and put it out a little differently, because probably what's going to happen, probably not going to happen for December. I'm probably taking December off. That's what's in my mind. Don't know how that's going to happen. I know at least the last 2 weeks of the year, I'm off. I'm probably going to go somewhere and do something. So not much happening December, but October and November is going to be full. December off, then January. So it's going to, because there's some more courses I haven't talked about, and they're going to be in various places. That's why I said you want to get in on the deal. You get in on the deal, you will be like, oh, I'm glad I got this. Because like I said, Disruptive Ronin, Economic Warrior is going to be 150 while it's in the beta stage, and for $500 to $600 once it's done. Yeah, that's that's how it's going to be. It's like I said, you want to get in before 6 p.m. tomorrow. You want to get in before, I'm telling you, because the thing is, I didn't even send out all the emails. Like I've been sending out an email every other day, not every day. And I'm going to send out one email tonight to various groups, and then probably one an hour before it drops off. And then we're done with that. I'm telling you, this is a lot of fun now. This is really, really a great deal of fun. That the platform, the things that you can do are amazing in this time frame. It's just totally, totally amazing. All right, let's see. We've got another question here. Michael Christopher Matthew, will you ever want freedom from staying in one location like a digital nomad? Does that lifestyle appeal to you? No. I've done that before. I don't. Okay, let's go back to what I said about I traveled a lot early in life. I don't have to. I mean, I've been to most of the continents already. I don't have that thirst of someone who's, say, 20 to 32 that's never been anywhere. I mean, going to different countries is great. It's wonderful. And this is something I put in a video, and I talked about this. When you're young, that's the time to do it. Because like I said, I can go to London tomorrow if I wanted to. But me going to London tomorrow at the age of 48 with my experience is totally different than me going to London for the first time at 21. It's totally different. Because one, you're naive as fuck, which is great because your mind is open. You accept things. You look at things. You're just like, well, that's how it is. You're not jaded. You don't have baggage. It's such a different experience to do that. Because, yeah, you can go, like I said, I can go to Hawaii. It will not be the same as when I was 19 years old up in the barracks with my girl. And I'm going to tell you something we used to do. We had this big ass room, and we had aligned our lockers and created pods, and we would open up the doors to seal the pods. And all three of us I had our girls in there, and we were fucking. I wouldn't do that today. My mind was just like, no, I don't fuck with other people in the room. But when you're 16 to 20 some, you'll do it in a heartbeat. You'll take more chances. You'll be more open. You'll embrace life. And the thing is, I believe that there are seasons and phases to life, and many people my age who didn't get to do the shit that I was doing when I was that age are trying to do it now. They're trying to rebrand or reinvigorate their teen years, and it's not the same. It's just not the same. And that's why I say, if you're a young person, you want to start a business, start now. Start now. Start a business. You want to travel now. Do not be thinking, well, I'll do all this other stuff and later on I'll trap. It may never come. Later on, it may never come. You may go ahead and hub up, wife up, hit kids, and you may never have the money to do this stuff ever again in life. Right now, you can travel with no money. There are so many travel blogs and channels that will teach you how to go wherever you want to go on the low. I mean, I was because I got to go to New York. I got to go to St. Louis. I was looking at a plane ticket. It was like $313 round trip on Delta. I was like, is this real? And I was just looking at this stuff. So you could travel. And I want you to think about this. Say you make $3,000 a month. Now let's talk about, and then we're going to talk about this in Disruptive Ronin, Economic Warrior. This is the biggest reason that people cannot thrive. Their burn rate is too fucking high. You make $3,000 a month. You got a $500 to $800 a month car payment. And even if you have great credit, if you buy a $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 vehicle and don't put a lot down, you're going to have a $500 to $800 payment for 60 months. All right. Now you've got this apartment or house that's taking $1,200 plus utilities and stuff. So you're at $1,500 to $1,800 there. So between your car and your home, that's most of your money. That's most of your money because someone told you that you got to have a house. No, you don't have a house. Someone told you got to have the flyest car out there. No, you don't have to have the flyest car out there. These are things that you got to really think, because my advice to you, if you're a young person, is to get yourself a beater. Get yourself an older car. If you want to have a little class, go out and get yourself an old BMW, an old Mercedes, and go ahead, rebuild the transmission immediately and get it painted. Get the upholstery done over time, and you would be looking like $1 million. I had a 1994 BMW 525i. I went ahead and put some 740 rims on it, which I got off Craigslist. It was painted, and I mean, it was just basic white. And everywhere I go, people are like, God, that's a nice car. And it's like, it's a 94 with 268,000 miles on it. I got compliments. Valets would get in the car and be like, oh, I love these cars. We're talking about buying the car, $2,500, as long as the body's good, maybe $2,500, rebuild the transmission, $2,500 to the $3,500. So upholstery, another $1,500. So under 10 grand, you've got the statement car if that's what you want, and it's mechanically sound. That's what you want to, So if you fly, you can do that, because that's my role. That's what I do. I'm getting ready to trick out. I think I'm going to slam the 740. I think I've made that decision that I'm going to slam the 740. If you know what a slam is, it's just like you lower the suspension and all this other stuff, and it gets really low, because the car is a fantastic road car. It's a fantastic trip car. It's great for long trips. And I'm going to have the transmission rebuilt probably next week. And, once you do that, and then you like maybe rebuild the engine, there ain't much else that can go wrong. Maybe electronic stuff, but that stuff's not that bad. So there's just some advice to you. Just some advice. Stop putting all your money in your car. Stop putting all your money in your apartment. And, even if you're making money, you might be better off to get a roommate so you can save money. Let's see if there's any more questions in the queue. Let me refresh this bad boy. Johnny Retail, don't even need a car in many situations. That's true. With my lifestyle currently, I could actually get by without a car, because I don't really go anywhere. Like I said, I go downtown Atlanta. I don't drive. I hate driving down there. I take Uber. And locally, if I needed to use Uber to go to the store or something, we're talking about $5, $10 round trip. Yeah, it's really interesting. Let's see. I just Googled a bunch of 40-something travel bloggers. It's hilarious, some of the stuff they say. They all say travel now. Thanks for reminding me. Book 2 cruises for a reason. Wow, airlines and it's if you want to travel, like I say, do it now. The opportunity for you to be 18 and go into another country, or 18 to 20 something, it comes around once. You cannot go back and redo 25. You can't. You can't even go back and redo 35, and you can't go back and do 48. I was talking to my friend Sarkis, the guy who makes the diamonds and stuff, and we just had this conversation. I am so glad I got started when I did. I was 32. I was 32 when I got started on the business ownership path. I was 32. I'm so glad I got started when I did. I caught a lot of shit. People talk junk, but I wouldn't have the experience level to train you and teach you if I didn't do that way back when. That's one of the reasons I say the shit I say, and I piss off a lot of people because, hands down, there are many folks who are trying to teach you how to make money who've only been making money for a year or two or maybe three. Not saying that their experience is invalid, because any experience that you use to make you money is valid, but it's not that deep. And I was watching some videos because a lot of people were saying they were talking shit about Amazon FBA. And I thought that was like the cat's meow. And I hear there's all, no, see, I don't watch that stuff because it's not in my wheelhouse. I'm never going to have an Amazon course. I'm never going to have an eBay course. And I just like, why even look at that stuff or even talk to those people or hang out on that stuff? Because that isn't your thing. That's not what you're trying to do. That's not what you're trying to create. So why even be in that world? And then when I revisited it and I looked at it, I was just, a lot of things that they're saying is shit I said 3 and 4 years ago. But since I'm the guy that charges for information, oh, we can't listen to him. And I just thought it was funny because some of the people who were talking were folks who absolutely hate my guts, but now they're saying the same shit that I said. And I'm like, I tell you, it was pretty fucking interesting. It was pretty fucking interesting. Let's see if there's any more questions in the chat room. Let's see. What's here? Number one car in Austin is a 200 Toyota Camry, 2000 Hondas, 2000 Lexus. I delivered pizza in all the wealthy neighborhoods had these cars. All of the apartment complexes had brand new cars everywhere, and that's why people ain't got no money to travel. You know, it's really funny. I was out looking at houses, and I was in a neighborhood that's going through what I call the great turn. Is when many of the folks who bought first, they're older. They're going to pass on, or they're going to go live with family, or they're going to go into a home. So they're selling these homes because there was like for sale signs all over the place. I was just like, good Lord. And it hit me. It's like, when I started doing my due diligence, and I'll say, oh, a lot of these houses were built in the 80s and some were built in the 70s. So all these people are getting ready to transition. And to your point, there were no luxury. There was very few luxury cars in that part of the neighborhood. Now you go a few streets over, and then it's Audi, Lexus. It was all over the place. But yeah, that was very interesting because I took note of it. Not one. Not one. I mean, it was just very, very few luxury cars there. That's pretty interesting observation. Pretty interesting. Because if you want to buy a luxury car and you got the money, that's not a big deal. But let's see. Let me put this answer here. It takes 15 million to start a bank, and another 15 million to grow. Now, this is something else. He said, this is a long-term investment for you to really see your money. And I can see that because it takes a while for those businesses to grow. But he says there's a lot of money in it. Lots of money. But that's what's going on. And September 29th, 2015, the year of our Lord. This is pretty fun stuff. And that's something else too. By starting early with the business stuff and figuring it out, because unless you are just completely unteachable, you're going to learn this stuff in 2 years to 7 years, with 7 years being a long time. But you will eventually learn this stuff if you get started now. But the longer you start, the wait, because like I said, it's September 29th, 2015. If you are fortunate, you have good health, and this time next year, you're alive. So if you do these things, you create this stuff, you build this stuff, then that year will be a year of building wealth and building position and building profit for yourself. Just think of it like that. Put yourself a big goal up and say, like, this time next year, I want to be here. Write it down. Well, like I said, Ronin, Disruptive Ronin, Economic Warrior, is going to be very much like 30 days to 2,500 in terms of execution. And when we get to the philosophy building stage, when we get to the code of ethics, when we get to making yourself emotionally successful, because, I said some earlier toward the year, it's like I am honest with my relationship to anger, because many people think if you get angry, something's wrong, or you shouldn't get angry. Anger is a natural response. Now, there's nothing wrong with being angry. There's plenty wrong if you allow that anger to make you act out and do something counterproductive. That's the problem. Not being angry, but not managing your relationship with anger. We'll talk about that, because when you become a business person or a hustler, you will have to deal with a great deal of heartbreak, of failure, things that don't work out the way that you want. You will have to deal with that. But if you manage your relationship with anger, where you still have a success mindset, because Aaron Marino said it, even when he was at his lowest point, he knew that eventually he would be successful. You have to have that mindset. It's very, very important. I mean, it's killer. It's killer important. So let's see if there's any more questions. If not, I'm going to tune this bad boy out. Oh, there is one. Let's see. What is it? Where is it? Oh, no, they're kind of mixed up together. But that's pretty much it for a little chat. And I'm going to jump off into 30 days to 2,500 and the other courses, because, like I said, 30 days to 2,500 is $699. If I wanted to be living just selling this course only, no other course, just talking about it, going around doing talks and chats, I could. That's how powerful this course is. This course has helped a lot of people. But you get the special, you get that course, you get all of this. There's more. Hold on. It's got to load. You get that. You get the fast start 30 days to 2,500. You get this. And yeah, there's some other stuff. This is just a discussion room, and this is when I start the podcast. The members of hustlerskungfu.com will get the podcast and interviews and stuff first before anyone else. So that's that. And then once we get started with Disruptive Ronin, the economic warrior, then you'll get that too if you are a member who bought the bundle section. So the link is below the video. And just to help some people out, I'll pop in here and I will just place this because this video is public. So and this is something else just for you folks who want to do live events. They behave very differently, very, very differently in terms of how they render and what they do. Like, this is a Google Hangout. When I cut it off, it's going to still be here. It's going to render and you can still watch it at the same time while it's rendering. When you do live streaming, it renders, but it times out. When you do a live event, it renders, but it times out. So it gets to be very, very interesting. Less than, at this point, wow, less than 16 hours to get the deal. Here you go. Put that there and you will get that. So let me refresh. Let's see if we're at 21. Okay, we got some more stuff in here. Where does one begin to properly succeed in the hustler's world? One begins in their mental state. All success starts in your attitude and your belief system. Let's see, there's another question in here. Where is it? Where is it? Okay, that looks like that's it. So you got that. All right. So thanks for everyone that came out. You folks have a great night, and I will see you in the next episode.